Chapter 13. The day before yesterday. After a few minutes of flashing lights, everything became quiet. Harold opened the potty door and peeked out into the dark library. Constantly, the two time travelers stepped to the library window and looked out. There they saw Melvin's father, Mr. Sneedley, zapping the bionic booger boy with the blast of the Combinotron 2000. "Been there," said George. "Done it. Done that," said Harold. In the corner, George and Harold found a coat and hat, which belonged to Miss Singerbrains. Immediately, they thought of a plan. Harold put on his coat and hat and climbed to George's shoulders. "I sure hope this disguise works," said Harold. "It better," said George. "We can't risk Gwen recognizes us." Soon George and Harold were at the scene of the action. Mr. Sneedley had just fired the Combinotron 2000 a second time, and now the boys were really to make their move. "Excuse me, Mr. Sneedley," said Harold, trying very hard to sound like a grown-up. I want you to present a dude, the most brilliant science guy in the whole wide world." "Really?" cried Mr. Sneedley. "It's always been my dream to win that award." "But first," said Harold, "I'd like to have a look on the Combinotron thingy." "Okay," said Mr. Sneedley. He handed Harold the Combinotron 2000 and smiled proudly. Said Harold, "I think to look at behind. I need to look at behind those bushes over there." Harold and George wobbled over to the bushes, unbuttoned their coats, and switched the two Combinotron 2000s. Then they wobbled back and handed the fake Combinotron 2000 to Mr. Sneedley. "Everything seems to be in order," said Harold. But before we could present the award, we'd like to give you a photo." "Who's we?" asked Mr. Sneedley. I'd like to get you a photo of you," said Harold nervously. George stuck his hand out of the coat and handed out the forgetchumcallit 2000. "See?" said Harold. Mr. Sneedley looked down in shock at George's hand. Then George pressed the button. Flash! Suddenly, Mr. Sneedley forgot everything that had just happened. Dazed and confused, he stumbled back and rejoined his wife just in time for the Robo-Boogers to come to life and smash the fake Combinotron 2000. Meanwhile, George and Harold were running with all their might back to the library, carrying the real Combinotron 2000. "That was so easy," laughed George. "Yeah," said Harold. We got lucky this time." But when they reached the library door, George and Harold discovered that hadn't been quite so lucky after all.